Hello and welcome to the first edition of 2016 of Primetime Watchmaking in the News, your show that summarizes what happened in watchmaking in the previous month and talking about what to expect. Generally, we always start with the news of the month, but this time this news is so exciting, it's so big, we're so happy that we're going to reserve it for the end of the show. So let's start with the business news of the month. For the first time in many years, we saw a small contraction in export figures, minus 3%, so nothing dramatic. But it is important to remind ourselves that watchmaking has benefited from uninterrupted growth since 2002. And I don't know that many industries that benefit from similar paths. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the brands are going to adapt to this new situation. But it's also quite interesting or amusing to note that many of those brands were blaming kind of external elements to this kind of slowdown, meaning, for instance, the appreciation of the Swiss franc, the situation in Russia, the slowdown of the Chinese economy, and now they will have to more look themselves in the mirror. For instance, we've seen this continuous price increase for more or less the same product. Well, those kind of things will have to stop now. Okay, we're talking about luxury product, and often the price, the public price, is a little bit decorrelated to its economic production cost. But again, I think there's a bit of too much exaggeration, and some customers have just been put off. But again, we're not gonna cry for those watch brands, and it has absolutely no impact on our absolutely love for watchmaking and what it really is. So let's now talk about the event of the month, and we have to talk about the Geneva Watch Week and its main highlight, meaning the SIHH, though most of brands are present in one way or another in Geneva during this week. In perspective of what I just said, it was going to be interesting for us to see what the ambiance was going to be like, and for sure it was a little bit less exuberant than in previous editions. The people were still smiling, maybe it was a bit of a facade, but the main point was that this year the SIHH hosted some of those independent brands that we love so much. So what was the reason behind this? Well, those independents, they've managed to keep watchmaking cool by being super creative and being very exclusive naturally. So I guess the more mainstream brands, they benefit from this perception of what fine watchmaking is through these independents. Something quite amusing is that the space allocated to these independents was called the Carré des Horlogers, meaning the square of the watchmakers, which can naturally question yourself as to what the other brands really are. For the product launch section of this prime time, we're going to be very short because I strongly invite you to check out, for those who haven't, check out our video coverage of the SIHH. We've done plenty, and you'll see many new watches. But I still wanted to point out a few things that we didn't talk about. The first one was like a special clock made in collaboration between Parmigiani Fleurier and Lalique, the French crystal maker, because this clock is really impressive and it's like an automaton with two poetic horses running on demand or on the passage of the hour. Just for the little story, this was the biggest piece of crystal that Lalique has ever produced. It weighs more than 50 kilos, and it requires more than 3 months just to cool down once it has been molded. So quite impressive in terms of still kind of crystal in a certain way. We're going to talk about, we saw the Rebellion timepiece, Magnum 540 full sapphire attire, really quite impressive. And at the same time, Hublot came out with a full sapphire version of its La Ferrari watch, which is quite outstanding, I would say. It's very impressive. For the marketing coup of the month, we're going to talk about Jean-Claude Biver, CEO of Tag Heuer, and the man that made Hublot what it is today. Well, he definitely knows how to occupy the media scene, and they've just announced something quite crazy. This is the introduction of a tourbillon chronograph, COSC certified, for less than 15,000 Swiss francs. This watch is the Carrera Heuer 02T, and naturally we hope to do a review on this watch pretty soon because this is quite something. I think it can be even a kind of a game changer, and I know for sure that it will annoy quite a lot of people in other brands. And now for the news of the month, and this is really exciting, and as you can see, even the sun is popping up just to accompany us through this. So at the SIHH, we got interviewed by CNN. They wanted to have our opinion about watchmaking, so that was a nice recognition for us, and that's pretty cool. But no, that's not the news of the month. So now we go for really the news of the month. After our publication of our latest watchmaking tourism saga, we received so many cool feedback about this, so it gave us a little idea, and now we want to organize some kind of watchmaking road trip, but with you guys. The goal is to have between 4 and 6 people, whether from the USA, Australia, Japan, wherever you want, come to Geneva ideally in the first week of July, and every day we're going to visit at least 2 different things, whether it's a museum, a manufacturer, encounter watchmakers. So we'll go from Geneva to the Vallée de Joux to La Chaux-de-Fonds, and over those 5 days it's going to be really intense. The only little constraint is that we ask you to pay basically to come to Geneva. We can't take that in charge, but once you're in Geneva, we take care of everything. So 5 intense days. Naturally, we're going to film this, and the goal is then afterwards that we will publish some kind of episodes on a weekly basis starting in the end of August. This is going to be really incredible experience. We're really happy to share this with you actually, and I can promise you that it's going to be awesome. So how to participate? Well, it's very easy. Just shoot a little video about yourself, explaining who you are, your motivation, and we'll take it from there. You send this at this email address here, and then we'll contact you and try to organize this again for the first or second week of July. This is still a bit flexible. We need to arrange between the different agendas of everybody. So we're looking forward getting your feedback on this, and just if you have any questions, just don't hesitate to contact us. So all the best, enjoy, have a great day, see you soon.